Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you for tuning in to the Campfire, our summer camp show where we break down districts from across the Metroplex. This week, we're deep diving into 4-5A Division I, and we have some really great teams in this district. We're going to introduce you to them in our film session presented by Cricket Wireless.
District 4-5A Division I was one of the most competitive districts in the state last year and should be the same this year. Colleyville Heritage won the district last year but only played 5 of the 7 other teams due to COVID outbreaks. Leo Covington and Mason Murdoch return as big-time wideouts, but they will have to find a quarterback to get them the ball. Mansfield Summit made the playoffs last year by percentage points, but after a magical postseason run, the Jags ended up in the state semifinal. David Hopkins returns at quarterback, and they'll bring back some top-notch defensive players, but Summit won't be sneaking up on anyone this year. Red Oak used a two-headed monster at quarterback last year to make it to the regional final, but both of those guys are gone now. The Hawks will be looking for someone to step up at that position during spring ball, but they do have Baylor commit Kelsey Johnson at tight end to help with the transition. Dark horse in this district may be Burleson Centennial. The Spartans went 4-2 in district play last year and bring back Offensive Newcomer of the Year Philip Hamilton back into the fold this year. Richland brings back wide receiver CJ Nelson as they try to get back into the playoffs, while Mansfield Legacy will rely on returning starter Bo Kilgore behind center. Midlothian missed out on the playoffs by mere percentage points, so that should ignite them to go hard for the postseason this year. And Birdville went winless in district play last year, but that is not the norm for Hawks football, so expect a bounce-back year this year.
The film session is presented by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket.
And that segment has me smiling as these teams are so good in 4-5A Division I. But these great teams are made up of phenomenal players. And we're going to have some on the show and our players on the rise.
Richland's CJ Nelson had quite the junior campaign for the Royals. He got 50 passes for nearly 1,100 yards and found the end zone 14 times. And that was coming off a 47-catch sophomore year. He'll most definitely be Richland's top target in 2021, as he's a big play guy who averages 22 yards a catch. After a senior season with the Royals, CJ will be headed to TCU. As a tight end for Red Oak, Kelsey Johnson has caught 45 career balls and has turned 14 of them into touchdowns. At 6'2", 222 pounds, Johnson is a big target for the Hawks, but can also control the line of scrimmage in the run game. After what Johnson hopes to be a stellar senior season, Kelsey is heading to Waco to play for the Baylor Bears. On the defense, Summit senior Joseph Adidere will be chasing quarterbacks in the district all year long. As a junior, he was named first team all-district as a defensive end. He made 53 tackles and wound up third in the district in sacks with 10. Adidere has a lot of D1 interest, including California, Michigan, and Arizona. Dywan McKinney is a cornerback to know in 4-5A Division I. The Colleyville Heritage senior had 43 tackles and 2 picks last year in a very difficult district. He also had 2 picks as a sophomore as well. McKinney is one of the fastest DBs in the district as he is a standout on the track team.
This district is loaded with some amazing players, and those great players are led by fantastic head coaches. In our media day segment, our producer of Inside High School Sports, Warfa Sold, talks to Red Oak's Michael Quintero.
Welcome to Media Day. We are talking 4-5A Division I, and we are joined by Red Oak head coach Michael Quintero. Coach, you guys have had 2 straight years of very long playoff runs. How do we mix that into this upcoming year and just make this a tradition for Hawks football?
Well, I think you said it. I think you said it right when you talk about tradition. You know, it's something that we've been talking to the kids about for a long time, even before Coach Ross left, about building a culture in Red Oak not only in football, but all sports, and being dominant in the things that we do. I think that the kids they believed in the process of getting better. I think that being able to play deep in the playoffs the last 2 years is it's building experience for our younger kids. And I think that's, if you look at all the top programs in the state, like the Alitos, the South Lakes, all the teams that play deep all the time, they're able to do that because of the extra practices that they get. You got kids who have been put into stressful games, big games. They're used to it. And I think there's something to say about that experience.
I know last year was your first year as the head man, but going into it, you knew exactly what you were getting into. That district is stacked top to bottom. Matter of fact, a team that many thought, percentage points makes the playoffs, and they go to the state semi. What's it going to look like for this year? I mean, a lot more of the same?
Yeah, I don't see it changing. I mean, there's not a weak game any week that you play. I mean, every team that's in our district is capable of making a big playoff run. All the way from the Mansfield schools to obviously to Midlothian. Just, they're all well coached. They're all disciplined.
I wish you luck this season. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Coach Quintero, thank you so much for joining us here on the Campfire. Up next, we bring in the one, the only Professor Diggs for the district breakdown with Word for Sold.
All right, we are joined again by the good Professor Matt Diggs. Diggsy, we are talking 4-5A Division I, a wild district last year where Summit makes it in by percentage points and then parlays that into a state semifinal performance. What can you say about the way that district was last year? We knew it was going to be competitive, but
right.
I think it was going to be like that.
5th in district and 4th in state. I mean, come on, that was quite the run. And you got to give I love Mansfield. That run, they were consistently the underdog, and I consistently picked against them, and they just kept proving me wrong. And they had so many good studs, but they had a couple of defensive players, and I think in District 4-5A, when I look at it, defense is really going to be the tone.
Yeah, and during that run, they had to step over a couple of district foes, Heritage and Red Oak. Talk about who might else come through and maybe make a little run as well.
Well, I know a lot of people from Red Oak. If we were taping this 2 months ago, we would have talked about Chris Parson, the Duncanville player who transferred over to Red Oak and had and shared time this year and looked really good. But he transferred over to Nashville, a program in Brentwood. So even though we don't know who really they've got coming back, and I don't think they're going to be maybe a state contender to a TPC in the state top 10, they're going to be a really solid team. But this district is so good from top to bottom that, we were looking at it last year, a team like Mansfield Summit made it, a 5th place team by percentage points, made it all the way to the state semifinals. I think you could see a team that we're not talking about do that. A team that I think is primed for a bounce back year is Birdville. Aiden Dollar was a quarterback. I watched the Birdville versus the Lothian game last year, and he had a lot of the techniques I'm looking for to be a really good quarterback, and I think he's going to be helpful.
Excellent. Next week's 5-5A Division I. I appreciate you joining us. Have a pleasant weekend.
Thank you.
Diggsy, Wiz, always a pleasure to have you on the Campfire. So I'm going to make a bold prediction and say Midlothian takes this one. Quote me. But that's all we have this week for the Campfire. We have some awesome content coming at you throughout the week, and you can see it on our social media platforms. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. But until next time, I'm Ashley Billington, and thank you so much for watching the Campfire. We'll see you next Monday for 5-5A Division I.